rendah hidupnya per saat ini, terimalah. Karena itu adalah realitas. Dan jauhilah dari pemikiran bahwa ini hukuman hidup, ini kutukan hidup, ini azab, atau apapun penamaan yang terkadang kita berburuk sangka terhadap kebaikan semesta kepada kita. Ketika kita mulai berdamai, kita mulai bisa mengalir untuk mengambil pelajaran-pelajaran dari apapun yang kita sebut titik rendah sekarang. Dan ketika kita mulai menerima perubahannya perlahan, perubahan itu akan membawa kita menuju kepada pertumbuhan untuk membuat kehidupan kita jauh lebih baik. Maka terimalah, mengalir, dan bertumbuh. Terima kasih.
Hi there. Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. It is wow, I don't know if gloomy is a good way to put it. Cats and dogs perhaps would be the best way to describe our morning. It is pouring here in central Jakarta, but nevertheless, it is bright and full of sunshine here in the See Today News studios because we are set to bring you all the latest news and updates from Indonesia and around the world on the final day of January. Yes, it is the 31st of the month and just past 6 a.m. as we get set to bring in the leap year of February. We're going to have 29 days coming up next month. We first have to finish up our business in January, so we've got a couple of talk shows coming your way as well, and we'll talk about that momentarily. We've got your daily sports, entertainment, and business roundups, all that and more to come. But first, let's say hello to the Hump Day Squad. It is Wednesday, isn't it?
It is.
You've got Caroline and Marissa. Hey, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
You must be happy today. You love the rain.
I love the rain. I love it. I just don't know how the traffic's going to be, especially right here in Jakarta. But yes, loving to the sound of the rain. It is hardcore raining right here in Jakarta right now, but it is the last day of January. Things just go so fast. And of course, have you get intact with your New Year resolution, if you have any. We're going to talk about that also in one of our talk shows right here on the C Morning Show. Before that, though, please do stay connected with us on our social media at See Today News on Instagram, X, and also YouTube.
Yes, and good morning to you as well. It is always a great pleasure for us three to bring you your morning news as you start your day. Indeed, we have headlines from around the world, including top stories from Indonesia's general election.
Hey.
I'll let you make a song out of that.
I know, right? We're
cute.
super excited. Yes, discussions indeed will also include voting rights for citizens with mental disorders, and also, as mentioned by Carol, how to effectively reach your resolutions. Indeed. All that and more within the next 3 hours. I'm Marissa Anita, and let's start the show with our headlines.
Israeli forces have raided and killed 3 Palestinian militants in a hospital in the West Bank in Palestine, where violence has surged since the Israel genocide in Gaza.
Thailand's Deputy Finance Minister Julapun Armonviwat has weighed in on the recession gripping the country.
And rain had uprooted a large tree that fell on a taxi bus as it was passing a road in East Jakarta early yesterday.
from sports, the Indonesian under-20 football team were beaten 3-2 by Uzbekistan in a friendly match at Madia Stadium in Jakarta on Tuesday evening. Wow, it's raining so hard, and that is something you have to look out for, by the way, when you're on the roads. Trees, and also the...
Poles?
Yeah, those poles with all the election campaigning. Be careful. I'm always thinking about that when I'm driving, especially in the areas where they're kind of piled on top of each other. It's a bit windy, so keep your eyes out on the roads if you are in areas that are raining. We're going to get more into the weather-related news from here in Indonesia later on in our next segment. But first, we have some world news to get to. And as mentioned in our top headline, Israeli forces have raided and killed 3 Palestinian militants in a hospital in the West Bank in Palestine, where violence has been surging since the Israel genocide in Gaza.
The Israeli military said forces entered the Ibn Sina hospital in the northern city of Jenin early Tuesday, and they shot and killed 3 Palestinians.
The Palestinian Health Ministry said that the Israeli forces opened fire inside the hospital's wards and called on the international community to stop Israel operations in hospitals.
Despite the humanitarian catastrophe unfolding across the Gaza Strip, some countries have paused funding for the United Nations Aid Agency for Palestinians.
Israel's attacks in Gaza has killed more than 26,000 Palestinians, most of them women and children. Ceasefire talks are still ongoing, but Israel has said significant gaps remain in any potential agreement.
And definitely in regards to this particular situation, the U.S. Department has said it cannot offer assessment on Israel's controversial raid hospital in Jenin. We know that Israel soldier has disguised as civilians and medical staff. They entered the hospital. They assassinated 3 Palestinians who they thought are terrorists. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said on Tuesday that the U.S. wants to see hospital protected, but that Israel has the right to bring terrorists to justice. Now, according to Red Cross, international law says that combatants receiving medical attention cannot be targeted, not or no longer taking part in hostilities. Now, speaking of U.S., right, Marissa?
Yes, indeed. President Joe Biden says he has made a decision on how to respond to the drone attack in Jordan that had killed 3 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers.
President Biden declined to provide more details about what his response would be.
The weekend drone strike on a U.S. base in Jordan near the Syrian border also wounded more than 40 others. When asked how the U.S. response would be different from past responses to aggressions from groups backed by Iran.
The U.S. president said he did hold Iran responsible for supplying the weapons that were used in the attack. Biden was also asked what he would say to Democratic lawmakers who are concerned about the risks of an expanding war in the Middle East, and he responded with, "We'll see."
What's your response to Iran? What's your response to Iran? Have you made a decision how we'll respond to the attack? Yes. What's your responsible for the death of those 2 Americans? As we hold responsible for supplying the weapons to the resistance. It's directly responsible. We'll have that discussion. We'd like to not deter these attacks in the past. What will be different this time? Mr. President, how do you decide? The reason of war in the Middle East. A wider war in the Middle East. How worried are you? I don't think we need a wider war in the Middle East. That's not what I'm looking for. Are you going to be
Sir, should Donald Trump be allowed on the ballot? Should Donald Trump be allowed on the ballot?
As far as I'm concerned, that's fine.
Why is he leading in the polls if he's a threat to democracy, as you say?
Because guys like you.
What am I doing? Come on, come on.
That's Caesar, man. That's Caesar.
Oh, sir.
Have you done everything you can do with executive authority? There's a thing you can do. That's all I can do. Just give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work for us. There are some concern in your party about the possible escalation of military involvement in the Middle East. There's concern. We'll see.
Before I get to the president's comments, just a recap for those that have not kept up from the past weekend. The weekend's deadly strike in northeastern Jordan hit an American military base known as Tower 22. Now, it was a bit tragic because what happened was the enemy drone actually entered the area while an American drone was returning to the base from a mission. What happens is usually the air defense auto defense system is usually turned off to avoid shooting their own drone. And just because of that, that other drone was able to sneak in and cause the attack. There was no warning for the troops who were at the time sleeping in their quarters. And because of that, a supplementary air defense system called the Coyote is currently being sent to Tower 22 to help intercept these sorts of drones. As according to an unnamed official, Tower 22's air defenses are not as robust as those of other bases within the region as well. Now, back to some of the comments that have been made from the White House, along with what we just heard from President Biden. White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said the U.S. may be taking more of a tiered approach in its response. What this would mean is that it would actually be a series of responses over a period of time instead of just one particular response. Now, the president himself, he said, we'll see. He does have a number of options, though, including retaliatory strikes on Iran-allied bases and commanders. The U.S. could also target senior commanders of Iran's Islamic Revolution Guards Corps in Iraq or Syria. Because in recent months, several U.S. bases in the Middle East have already been attacked by militias that are trained, funded, and equipped by Iran, as that is why President Biden holds them responsible. While Iran has actually denied any involvement in the attack, the Islamic resistance in Iraq, which is made up of several Iran-affiliated militias that are operating, has already claimed responsibility for this last attack. Kataib Hezbollah, an armed faction of the Islamic resistance, said yesterday that it would suspend all of its military operations against U.S. troops within the region to avoid embarrassment for the Iraqi government. The group, also called the Brigades of the Party of God, is a powerful Iraqi Shia militia that does receive financial and military support from Iran. So now we've only heard the first verbal response. Let's see what the actual physical or military response will be. Now, the White House actually insists that it is not looking for war with Iran, even as President Joe Biden vows retaliatory action for the drone attack on U.S. forces in Jordan that took the lives of 3 American troops that the Democratic administration believes Tehran was actually behind.
The brazen attack, which the Biden administration blames on Iranian-based proxies, adds another level of complexity to an already complicated Israel-Hamas war that the Biden administration has sought to keep from expanding into a broader regional conflict.
Bradley Bauman, who is the Senior Director on Military and Political Power at the Foundation in Defense of Democracy, says he's been warning why there hasn't been any U.S. military deaths up to this point.
I've been warning that there's been 2 reasons why we haven't seen U.S. military deaths up to this point. And one is the force protection measures that we've taken, and 2 is luck. And as anyone knows, sooner or later, luck runs out. And sadly, it appears to run out this weekend. We have roughly 3,000 U.S. service members in Jordan. Jordan is an important security partner for the United States for all sorts of reasons. The primary objective, there really are 2 primary objectives, I would say, for U.S. military personnel being in Jordan. One is to help increase security cooperation between the U.S. and Jordan for a variety of reasons. They're a valuable security partner in a troubled region. So that's one reason why our troops are there. The other big reason, and this I think relates more to this particular location that was hit, that is trying to ensure the enduring defeat of the ISIS caliphate.
And we will continue to follow this story along, obviously, and keep you updated as to the latest developments. In the meantime, though, we have got more updates this time out of Indonesia. Yes, it's raining outside, and it has been for this past week. Rain actually uprooted a large tree that fell on a taxi bus as it was passing a road in East Jakarta earlier yesterday.
Yes, the driver of the taxi bus managed to escape without injuries, and no passengers were in the vehicle. Officials from East Jakarta Park Service and Fire Department were immediately sent to clear the tree from the road.
And just hours earlier, a windstorm swept through a part of West Jakarta, damaging 6 homes whose residents were sound sleeping. The gale tore down roofs and allowed rainwater to seep in and inundated the interiors.
Kejadiannya semalam sih jam 1:30 lagi pada tidur. Tiba-tiba karena hujan kali ya, terus harian itu dia nggak kuat lagi enak-enak tidur, tiba-tiba ambruk. Ya mungkin karena bangunannya ya sudah lama mungkin, terus ditimpa hujan. Pertama kan awalnya panas kan, terus lama-lama hujan seharian gitu.
In other news, an investigation is underway after Tuesday's blast at a hospital operated by Semen Padang in Padang, an incident that has forced the evacuation of hundreds of patients and injured.
Authorities are looking into the recent blast at the hospital operated by Semen Padang in Padang. Findings so far seem to suggest that the blast was triggered by workers neglecting to shut off the gas source for welding. They were repairing the air conditioning system on the 7th floor.
Tidak ada korban tewas, insya Allah sampai saat ini tidak ada. Tidak ada ledakan bom. Yang terjadi adalah di lantai 7 sedang dilakukan perbaikan AC. Jadi sedang melakukan las-las. Kemudian dia istirahat, yang pekerja ini istirahat, sehingga meninggalkan, mungkin lupa gas las itu ditutup atau tidak, sehingga mengakibatkan meledak 6 unit outdoor central AC.
No casualties have been reported except for 2 injuries. However, the hospital had to relocate around 100 patients and discharge many others, citing damage to facilities. C2 contributor reporting from Padang, West Sumatra.
We'll have more top stories coming from Indonesia after the break.
Kind of 10 days, the priority has been getting to California and making the miles and saving our money as best we can.
But we're going to ride 80 miles tomorrow. We've just ridden 70 and we're all starving.
Took the first couple of corners and felt pretty comfortable, so I thought I might get it.
So that was just too much rear brake, stalled the engine.
The end of the first day of competition.
The winner of the challenge today was Brodie.
Reviewed today by generations unborn when they weave their spell. The Cup of Dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Bukit sampai elevasi gue hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kinda wanna die.
Welcome back to C Morning Show, everyone. As mentioned prior to the break, we've got more updates for you, this time out of Indonesia, as the Indonesian army has responded to rumors that Malaysian authorities have arrested 3 of its members over smuggling suspicions.
Commander of Tanjung Pura Military Region, Major General Iwan Setiawan told reporters on Tuesday that Sunday's incident was a misunderstanding.
Yes, he said that the 3 personnel were in Lubuk Antu, Malaysia to buy some necessities when Malaysian officials told them to pull over.
The car owner, who is a local shopkeeper, panicked and ran, leaving the soldiers behind. Setiawan also confirmed that the car was only carrying supplies and that there was no contraband on board.
Salah satu perwira Pasiminlog sudah izin sama dan Satgas untuk membeli kebutuhan posko ya di Lubuk Antu. Ya, kemudian berangkat menuju ke Lubuk Antu dan dijemput oleh penjual yang langganan biasa untuk beli posko. Dijemput sama mobil sipil, bukan mobil tentara, mobil sipil dari toko itu. Nah, pada saat perjalanan ada patroli dari PGA. Dihentikanlah. Tidak tahu kenapa si masyarakat sipil itu ketakutan lari, dipikir ada apa. Kalau anggota kita ya tertib karena biasa berkomunikasi. Akhirnya mereka diamankan sama PGA itu untuk dimintai keterangan. Kemudian memang bawa 8 tabung gas yang 14 kg untuk kebutuhan posko. Jadi kalau misalnya diberitakan ada indikasi bawa beras sekian banyak, ada bawa bungkusan seperti narkoba, itu tidak ada, itu hoax. Ya, saya yakinkan bahwa itu tidak ada, hanya 8 tabung gas dan mereka tidak mendapatkan perlakuan apa-apa, dimintai keterangan saja. Kemudian dan Satgas pun sudah saya telepon dan meyakinkan tidak ada barang apa-apa, hanya gas. Dan mereka sudah komunikasi, mudah-mudahan hari ini anggota kita juga bisa dijemput dan
Indonesia's state-run telco giant Telkomsel yet again held its annual Tech Fest yesterday.
Yes, this year's tagline is Embrace Innovation, Connect and Make an Impact.
Indonesian state-owned telecommunications company Telkomsel held its annual Telkomsel Tech Fest on Tuesday. The theme of this year's Telkomsel Tech Fest is Embrace Innovation, Connect and Make an Impact. The event aimed to showcase technological innovation in various fields, inspire visitors and enable them to network, educate visitors on tech from a variety of companies, and provide a platform for collaboration and partnership.
Telkomsel has always tried to innovate and try to provide better services, and I thought technology forms a key foundation of that. We are always looking to provide better services, a better customer experience, and we are hoping that the people who come and visit us today will be inspired by what they see here, the latest technology, and how they can use it to actually do better in the space that they work in. In fact, directly impacting our customers and the services we provide.
Attending the event were several companies and their executives to present their innovations, Telkomsel employees, as well as STEM students from a number of Indonesia's universities, including University of Indonesia, the Bandung Institute of Technology, and Telkom University. The companies that attend the event had their own booths, where visitors were able to try the company's innovations firsthand. Multinational tech firm Dynatrace, for example, presented their computing, organizational, and AI solutions for businesses to implement in their model, a combo already implemented within Telkomsel.
Okay, so Dynatrace has become one of the key strategy partner at Telkomsel, and today we have done delivering observability tools from application services into Telkomsel infrastructure stack by today. So everything is visible through Dynatrace technology for Telkomsel purposes, either in operation and also businesses.
Chinese corporation Huawei meanwhile presented their integrated smart home system, which integrated their own AI to home products such as televisions to assist customers in their daily activities. In another booth, Amazon's subsidiary Web Service provided training and certification programs for its visitors and gamified training. AWS also showcased Deep Racer, platform in which AI is designed by individuals to drive model cars around a racetrack. Google Cloud also showcased its cloud computing platform and artificial intelligence technology, which could be utilized by telecommunications company to improve the efficiency of their model. Next to it, Chinese telecom company ZTE presented several items of hardware, as well as their AI solution to networking, content creation, and improved service. Finally, American tech giant Oracle showcased their generative AI, which can assist individuals in day-to-day tasks and businesses to be implemented in their customer-facing business model.
So we do have a big plan on Gen AI, and every single one of audience that comes here will be one of the very first to actually witness the launch of this product, because we just literally just launched this product like 3 or 4 days ago.
The day-long event was closed with announcement of the winners of the Deep Racer competition held by Amazon. With the event, Telkomsel hopes to foster ideas, partnerships, and collaboration between itself, its partners, and students. C2day News Team reporting from South Jakarta.
And in other news, 2 orangutans have been released in West Kalimantan's Betung Kerihun National Park following years of rehabilitation. Let's have a look.
West Kalimantan's conservation officials have released 2 orangutans into the wilds of Betung Kerihun National Park in Kapuas Hulu. Aming and Mona joined 28 other individuals that had been released in the park since 2017. Both had been confirmed to be healthy and free of diseases prior to release after years in rehabilitation, where they mastered motor skill, identifying food resources, and nest building. Officials will continue to monitor the animals' daily activities for the next 3 months to ensure they are able to adapt.
Jadi kita sudah melepaskan 31 orangutan di kawasan Taman Nasional Betung Kerihun Danau Sentarum. Dari 28 individu orangutan yang kita lepaskan terdahulu, itu 2 individu diantaranya sudah beranak, gitu. Jadi sudah ada perkembangan yang baik.
Betung Kerihun is among the premier location for orangutan release in the region, owing to ample vegetations and food sources, as well as its remote location. C2day contributor reporting from Pontianak, West Kalimantan.
Those beautiful creatures indeed belong in the forest, and we have to protect their habitat by maintaining and preserving our forests indeed. So a couple of fun facts about orangutans. So this is according to nature.org. Orangutans can live up to 50 years, but they have a relatively low productive rate because females only give birth once every 5 to 10 years. So that's why they're one of our endangered species in Indonesia. Orangutans, what do they do to our life, to our well-being? Well, they help forest health by acting as the world's largest seed disperser. They cover large areas as they forage for food and additional risks in fragmented habitat. And they spend most of their time in trees because that's where they thrive. But when the habitat changes, the orangutans are forced to the ground as well. So orangutan is very, very important. Their existence is very, very important for the well-being of us, actually humans. Why? Because they protect the forest. Because without trees or without forests, humans would not be able to survive, by the way, because the air would be unsuitable for breathing. If anything, people would have to develop gas masks that filter the little oxygen that would be left in the air. Of course, we don't want that. We want forests to keep existing so that we can keep on living.
And hence their name, right? It literally translates to people of the forest. Oh,
Correct, correct.
People of the forest, and that's why this is one of the factor and very important factor that we need to see during the general election campaign. So it's that time of the day right now to deliver the updates regarding the upcoming Indonesian general election on our special program, Indonesia Votes 2024.
Yes, Vice President candidate Muhaimin Iskandar arrived in Central Java yesterday and he was set to attend several events.
As part of his visiting agenda, he met with supporters from PKB and Nasdem parties in Pekalongan on Tuesday.
Speaking on the occasion, Muhaimin promised that he and Anies will not abuse power, including in regulating the social assistance program.
Tidak boleh menyalahgunakan kekuasaan. Maka kita minta seluruh aparat negara harus netral, senetral-netralnya.
Also on Tuesday, Vice President candidate Gibran Rakabuming Raka, during his campaign trail in Cirebon, West Java, advocated for the promotion of technology-based creative spaces for young people, perhaps something similar to the Solo Techno Incubator.
Beyond incubation, Gibran pledged to raise royalties for music artists and support the growth of local musicians. Gibran then continued his campaign to Bandung, where he met with the youth within the city.
Lebih banyak lagi memperhatikan masalah IP, royalti, memberikan panggung sebanyak-banyaknya untuk musisi lokal, musisi daerah, dan juga ini ya kita kan pengen ya kemarin saya terakhir sama Tompi ya kita pengen ini menghidupkan lagi misalnya Backcraft, tahu Backcraft nggak? Ya, dulu ada yang namanya Backcraft ya, kita pengen kalian nggak pengen kerja kantoran kan? Kalian nggak pengen kerja dari jam 7 sampai jam 5 kan? Kalian nggak pengen jadi PNS kan? Ya udah, Backcraft itu solusinya. Ya intinya kalian pengen hidup dari kreativitas kalian kan? Oke, ya itu. Makanya kalau kami di Solo bikin Nokananta, kita bikin Teknopark, kita bikin tempat-tempat inkubasi UMKM karena ya anak muda.
And on the same day, presidential candidate Ganjar Pranowo campaigned under the rain in Malang, East Java.
Yes, during his campaign trail, he pledged to overhaul the education system, promising that each household should produce at least one university graduate.
Agar anak-anak bisa sekolah tinggi, agar satu keluarga miskin setidaknya ada satu anak yang bisa jadi sarjana, agar ibu-ibu dan balita kita mendapatkan layanan kesehatan dan gizi yang baik, agar perempuan kita masih makin berdaya dan setara dengan laki-laki, maka program itu menjadikan kita makin yakin.
Electoral officials in Sidoarjo, East Java and Solo, Central Java organized mock elections on Tuesday to identify potential problems at the polls.
Bisa langsung masuk ke lokasi. Electoral officials in Sidoarjo, East Java held a mock election on January the 30th with polling officers from across the regions in attendance. The simulation presented a glimpse of what the polling day will be like, starting from the opening of the polling station to the voting up to the vote counting and recapitulation. The event was aimed at identifying potential problems and show participants how to address them. On the same day, officials in Solo also held a similar event, although with more focus on the elderly, pregnant and disabled voters to see how long they will typically take to vote.
Sifatnya hanya simulasi, sifatnya simulasi itu kita berpedoman dengan surat keputusan KPU RI dengan desain suara yang diunduh dari link Bitly dari KPU RI dan untuk simulasi ini tidak ada masalah karena ini hanya simulasi saja kan bukan untuk mengukur efisiensi dan efektivitas daripada penyelenggara saja.
Mock ballots with 4 candidates were used in the simulation. Cited the contributors reporting from East and Central Java.
Yes, folks, for the latest updates and regarding for the general election 2024, please stay tuned right here on the C Morning Show and our special program, Indonesia Votes 2024. All right, everyone, we're taking a quick break right now, but when we return, Paul is set to bring you some sports updates. One update that I dislike very much, Paul.
Yes, Dylan Brooks strikes again, literally, as he hit LeBron in the face, and the Rockets hit the Lakers pretty hard and blew them out for another loss. Now, the Lakers are under 500. I'm sorry, Caroline, to say that, but hopefully they get back on track soon. We have some of the latest updates from the action that took place around the NBA yesterday, as well as the highlights and results from the friendly match that took place between Indonesia and Uzbekistan. We've got all that and more when we return here on the C Morning Show. Stay tuned. Coming up next after the break is your daily sports update.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So spicy.
Absolutely delicious.
You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga.
Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depot sih.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show, and it's time for your first sports update of this Wednesday morning. Starting with some football news. The Indonesia Under-20 football team were beaten 3-2 by Uzbekistan during a friendly match at the Madia Stadium in Jakarta on Tuesday evening. Uzbekistan took the early lead during the match when Remov Muhammadali scored from an assist by Tulkinbekov Azizbek during the 4th minute. Coach Indra Shafri's team were able to equalize in the 32nd minute with a kick inside the penalty box by Kafiatur Rizki. However, 6 minutes later, Uzbekistan went back in front courtesy of an error by Rifki Tofani, who could not handle a cross by Kurbonov Ozodbek. After the halftime break, Indonesia were able to equalize the score during the 74th minute when Sultan Zaki converted a cross from the left wing into the net. However, disaster for Indonesia came in the 87th minute. It was when Faizulayev Ruziboy scored an amazing goal with a powerful strike from outside the box. Final score, Indonesia 2, Uzbekistan 3.
Ya, saya pikir masalah fokus ya di akhir-akhir babak, terus juga tadi gol kedua dari Uzbek ya, karena tidak adanya mungkin koordinasi dan komunikasi dan orang yang melakukan crossing yang sebenarnya dia akan melakukan crossing tetapi bola masuk ke gawang. Jadi hal-hal kecil seperti itu yang mungkin ya ini kan tim baru berproses.
And let's head out to the Middle East for more football updates from the AFC Asian Cup in Qatar, where Uzbekistan beat Thailand 2-1 in their last 16 tie with a second-half winner from Abosbek Faizulayev at the Al Janoub Stadium on Tuesday to set up a quarterfinal clash with hosts and defending champions Qatar. Uzbekistan took the lead in the first half when Dior Holmatov lobbed a cross-field ball into the box to Azizbek Turgunboyev, who expertly controlled the pass with his chest before volleying it past Patiwat Kamai in Thailand's goal. But Thailand was able to equalize just before the hour mark when Supachok Sarachat pulled the trigger from more than 25 yards out, with his low shot curling past Uzbekistan goalkeeper Utkir Yusupov, who was not able to react in time. However, Uzbekistan restored their lead just 7 minutes later through Abosbek Faizulayev when the winger quickly turned his defender and fired from the edge of the box, directing a low shot that squeezed past the keeper and into the net and secured the win. All right, from football, let's shift our attention to some basketball-related news as former NBA point guard Rajon Rondo was arrested for unlawful possession of a firearm, drug paraphernalia, and marijuana. A spokesperson from the Indiana State Police reported that Rondo was pulled over on Sunday for a traffic violation. A subsequent search revealed the firearm and drug paraphernalia. The 37-year-old NBA champion was prohibited from possessing a firearm due to a no-contact order against him. He had, in 2022, an emergency protective order filed by a woman dismissed after reaching an agreement. The woman had previously accused Rondo of threatening her with a gun. She expressed concerns for the safety of her children as she noted Rondo's history of volatile and erratic behavior. The two-time NBA champion last played for the Cleveland Cavaliers during the 2021-22 season. And some NBA news from on the court. Jalen Green scored 34 points and Alperen Sengun added 31 to help the Houston Rockets to a huge 135-119 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers on Monday night. Houston led by as many as 30 points in the second half before the Lakers were able to use a 20-5 run to get within 10 with just 4 minutes remaining in the game. The Rockets then scored the next 6 points, with 3 coming from Green to make it 127-111 with about 3 minutes left. Green, who was the second overall pick in the 2021 draft, is working to be a more all-around player in his first season under head coach Ime Udoka. Meanwhile, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and D'Angelo Russell scored 23 points apiece for the Lakers, who had previously won 2 in a row, capped off by a 145-144 double overtime victory over the Golden State Warriors on Saturday. So you heard the numbers. The problem with the Lakers in this one was more on the defensive end of the floor as they struggled mightily defensively, allowing the Rockets to shoot a whopping 53% from the field and dishing out 36 assists. Los Angeles has now allowed at least 110 points in 7 consecutive games. Now, Anthony Davis was good offensively, finishing with 23 points as mentioned, but was surprisingly terrible defensively, yielding a destructive 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists to Rockets center Alperen Sengun. And this may have also been some lingering effects of the groin injury that he suffered in that double overtime victory against the Golden State Warriors a couple of nights ago. Now, he was slow to help out from the weak side, and he barely jumped during his defensive assignments. Meanwhile, LeBron James was a very efficient 9 of 15 from the field, but a slightly off day for D'Angelo Russell and a miserable day for Austin Reeves kept the Lakers out of the game. Plus, a Jared Vanderbilt injection did not help at all as he was thrown out of the game for pushing Dylan Brooks in the second quarter. In his place, Taurean Prince did not do much. He finished with 5 points in 25 minutes in 33% shooting from the field. Meanwhile, as mentioned, the Rockets led by as many as 30 points at one point, sparked largely by an explosive run to end the first quarter by rookie Cam Whitmore. Whitmore, you may remember, was selected 20th overall in the 2023 NBA draft. He was passed upon by the Lakers in favor of Jalen Hood-Schifino, who frankly hasn't shown that he can withstand the level of competition in the NBA. Whitmore has not only been stellar in his own regard, but showed the Lakers in this game why they made the wrong call. He finished with 18 points on 6 for 10 shooting, but had 12 to finish up the first quarter alone. This includes 2 monstrous dunks that were massive energy boosters for the Rockets. The Lakers now fall to 24-24 after the loss, and they have not been at least 2 games over 500 since December the 28th. And elsewhere from the NBA, Nikola Jokic spoiled the Milwaukee coaching debut of Doc Rivers by recording his 14th triple-double of the season as the Denver Nuggets surged by the Bucks 113-107 on Monday night.
Can help on that weak side as a defender.
Denver Nuggets beat Milwaukee Bucks 113-107 on Monday night. Nikola Jokic finished with 25 points, 16 rebounds, and 12 assists. Jamal Murray scored 35 for Nuggets. The game was a chance for Doc Rivers' coaching debut to size up his build-to-win-now club. Rivers was lured out of his role as an analyst to take over for first-year Bucks coach Adrian Griffin, who was fired after 43 games and a 30-13 record. Rivers watched his new team squander an early 13-point lead, fall behind by 9, and then fight back before Aaron Gordon ended the comeback by blocking Damian Lillard's layup attempt with 24 points, 7 seconds remaining.
I thought tonight was an offensive loss. Like I didn't think we were crisp offensively. We had stretches where the ball was humming and hopping, and then we had stretches where it didn't. And that's those stretches we have to clean up. But overall, I was very happy.
27 points. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 29 points and 12 rebounds for the Bucks, who began a 5-game trip. The Greek Freak played nearly 37 minutes despite dealing with an illness that had his availability up in the air leading into the game. Lopez had 19 points, including 5 of Milwaukee's 16 three-pointers. Lillard finished with 18 points.
Over the Milwaukee Bucks, and Michael Malone wins his 400th career game.
Very interesting to hear Doc Rivers' comments because throughout the game, there were points in the game during the timeouts where, although it was just his first game, did say to the Bucks players, okay guys, what play are we running offensively? As he was quite familiar as to what to do defensively, he's not quite familiar with the Bucks' offensive sets yet. But let's look at the other end of the court where reigning finals MVP Nikola Jokic finished with a stat line of 25 points, 16 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. And he did hit his triple-double before the third quarter even ended. This now marks his 14th triple-double this season and his 6th triple-double versus the Milwaukee Bucks alone. Jokic now becomes just the 4th player in NBA history to post that stat line or better in a game, joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, and Jimmy Butler per Basketball Reference's stat head. Not bad company to be in. Now, this was not the only history that Jokic made with this performance, as his 85th career 20-point triple-double now ties Magic Johnson for the 5th most such games in NBA history. Now, turning in historic performances on seemingly a nightly basis seems to be nothing new for Jokic anymore. In fact, his line on Monday night is not too far off from his season averages of 26.3 points per game, 12.1 rebounds, and 9 assists. Jokic did not shoot as efficiently from the field in this game as he usually does, but Milwaukee does have a very solid interior defense, and Jokic did just enough to get his own while also finding his other teammates, capped off by another solid 35-point performance by sidekick Jamal Murray. This was a solid win for the Nuggets, who are now currently up into second place in the standings. They're trying to hold off the LA Clippers while also trying to chase down the OKC Thunder and Minnesota Timberwolves. And a night like this from Jokic and company will certainly help them do that. Denver have now won its 5th straight game at home, where they are 19-4 this season. They improved to 13-15 overall, giving Michael Malone his 400th win as coach of the Nuggets, while also in the process spoiling Doc Rivers' debut as the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. And that last update brings us to the end of our sports segment. We will have more sports in our recap later on before the end of our program. Coming up after the break, Caroline and Marissa will be back to share with you some of the latest from the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, a 3-hour news show yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
So spicy.
Absolutely delicious.
You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga. Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's It's completely different with baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
All right, folks, welcome back. Here we are. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the C Morning Show. It's time for some entertainment update.
Yes.
With Marissa and I.
Yes.
Now, our story is the Recording Academy posted on their website to announce SZA as the latest addition to the list of performers at this year's Grammy Awards ceremony.
Yes, I love the way you say the name SZA. 'Cause previously, because I didn't know, I said Ja. That was wrong.
Why not, right? Like, you know, anyone can say it differently. Now, this will be SZA's second performance on the Grammys tonight. She is first performed 6 years ago when she was the Best New Artist nominee. Meanwhile, SZA leads the nomination with 9 nods, including Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year. SZA is followed by Victoria Monet and Phoebe Bridgers, who both have received 7 nods.
Yes, the 2024 Grammy Awards may be a big momentum for SZA, who in the past have been nominated for 15 awards at the Grammys in total, but only ever won once in 2022. In this year's edition, she will join the likes of fellow performers such as Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, Olivia Rodrigo, and Joni Mitchell, exciting, who will perform at the Grammys for the first time in her over 6-decade career.
That's right. So 4 more days until the 66th Grammy Awards will take place on February the 4th, 2024 at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles.
Yes, and it will be hosted by Trevor Noah.
Hey! Haven't seen him for quite some time.
I know. Well, I mean, it's like you can't see his show anymore.
Yes.
But you can listen to him, by the way.
A podcast.
He has a podcast now.
Nice.
Since he quit the daily something.
Yeah, Daily Show, right?
Daily
Yes.
Show, I think. Yeah, now he has a podcast. Anyway, I love Trevor Noah. Still from the world of music, Snoop Dogg, Babyface, and Kanye West showed support for Charlie Wilson as the R&B performer was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame Monday. Let's have a look.
To the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Charlie Wilson!
The 13-time Grammy nominee was honored with a star in the category of recording on his 71st birthday as a huge crowd of fans, Snoop Dogg, Babyface, and Kanye West gathered in Los Angeles. Wilson was lead singer of the Gap Band for a decade, earning acclaim for hits including You Drop a Bomb on Me and Early in the Morning.
This man right here means the world to me, not just musically, but personally, like especially when it comes to me and my wife. Because it was certain phases in my life where, you know, I felt like I should be by myself, I should do this alone. And Charlie was the only one man enough to pull me to the side and let me know.
During the ceremony, Wilson spoke about being sober for nearly 30 years and how he struggled with homelessness on the Sam Street where the stars now sits. He also praised his wife Mahind, who he described as his rock, inspiration, and a guiding light, as well as rapper Snoop Dogg for helping him get back on his feet.
Today, I stand before you as a man who has been sober for 29 years. No relapse. 1 day at a time. 29 years, 7 days a week. No days apart from that lady right there. I love you so much, baby. I owe it all to her unwavering support and love. I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to God for guiding me through this incredible journey. I am humbled and honored to receive this star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Wilson, who was diagnosed with the prostate cancer in 2008, has been an advocate for the Prostate Cancer Foundation, having lived cancer-free for 16 years through early detections and treatment. He has performed in the 2 Stand Up to Cancer telethons and documented his experiences in 2015 autobiography, I Am Charlie Wilson.
There you go. I mean, you got two names, and I'm just like game with that. Snoop Dogg, and you have Kanye. Babyface.
Babyface, though. Oh my God.
So congratulations to Mr. Wilson right there. Now we're gonna shift our focus to South Korean singer-songwriter IU and actor Park Bo-gum, who have been announced as the stars of Netflix's new K-drama When Life Gives You Tangerines. Why not? In a press release on yesterday, where Netflix also announced the all-star cast of the series.
Yes, I guess when life gives you tangerine, you make orange juice.
That's right, not lemonade.
Exactly. Netflix's upcoming K-drama series will follow the adventures of IU as Aesan, the remarkable rebel, and Park Bo-gum as Gwon-sik, the unyielding iron, and their love story in Jeju Island around 1950s. Aesan has been described as a determined rebel who continuously defies her fate. Meanwhile, Gwon-sik is a steadfast man who shows his sincere affection through his actions.
Wow, she's very beautiful, by the way. Now, apart from her music, IU has boasted an impressive filmography with projects such as My Mister, Hotel de Luna, and Broker. Will be working with director Kim Won-suk for the second time following My Mister. Meanwhile, Park Bo-gum has also shown his skills in many popular series. This includes Reply 1988 and Record of Youth.
Aside from IU and Park Bo-gum, the K-drama also star Moon Sori and Park Jae-hoon, and they will essay the roles of older versions of Aesan and Gwon-sik, respectively. This K-drama will be available exclusively on Netflix. However, no additional updates were given about when the drama dates will be released.
There you go. Hang on tight, everybody. And next up, if you like concerts, well, here you go. Celebrating their 20 years of their journey, American pop punk band All Time Low have announced that they will be heading to Kuala Lumpur and Jakarta this year as a part of the Asian leg of their latest tour, All Time Low Forever.
I'll take you home tonight. Stacy, please, I'm suffocating. Choking on infatuation.
According to the band's official Instagram page, these two countries will hold the honor of being the first and second countries in their Asian tour itinerary on April the 28th and the 30th, 2024. This will promptly be followed by subsequent show in Manila, the Philippines, Singapore, as well as in Japan. Following the release of the two debuted APs in 2024, the band experienced global success by surging popularity of their single Dear Maria, Count Me In. Since then, the band has continued to remain in popular circulations among pop, rock, and alternative music fans alike, and has secured several awards, such as the Rock Sound Awards album to the year 2018 and iHeart Radio Music Awards Alternative Rock Song of the Year in 2022. Their latest output is out in 2023 with a debut with their ninth studio album, Tell Me I'm Alive, followed by a collaborative single with the Canadian singer Avril Lavigne entitled Fake as Hell. Meanwhile, the Indonesian tour ticket sales for the concert will be on sale on February the 2nd through the promoters and the band's official websites.
So that's from the world of music, and now we go to the world of animation.
I love this one.
I know. Look at Carol's face. She's like smiling away.
Turning yellow.
It's turning yellow. Exactly. Who misses? Well, Carol definitely misses the yellow creatures with the squeaky voice. Ba, 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 na, na.
I love that one. Yes, they're back.
Exactly. The Minions and Gru are back again. The new era of animated movie franchise is set to begin with the upcoming Despicable Me 4!
It's 4! Now, Universal Pictures has just released the official trailer for Despicable Me 4. This movie follows the 2022 summer blockbuster phenomenon on Illumination's Minions, The Rise of Gru, which earned almost $1 billion worldwide.
Yes, along with the return of course, the familiar characters like Gru and his minions, Despicable Me 4 trailer also introduces a new addition to the family. Guess who? Gru Jr. Oh my goodness. Unlike the good relationship Gru has with his adopted daughters, it appears that Gru Jr. has not quite warmed up to his dad.
Can we have like Despicable Me 1000? Now, in the 6th installment, Gru will face new villain Maxime Lamal and his femme fatale girlfriend Valentina. Meanwhile, Pierre Coffin returns as the iconic voice of the Minions, and Oscar nominee Steve Coogan returns as Silas Ramsbottom.
Yes, Despicable Me 4 is set to premiere in the United States this summer, July the 3rd. And you know, Kay, you love the Minions so much, and I'm sure you've heard the Minions saying some Indonesian words before, right?
Right.
There is an explanation to that.
Okay.
Because the creator of the Minions, Pierre Coffin, is actually half Indonesian because his mother was Anne Hadini, the late Anne Hadini, which is one of Indonesia's most respected women in literature.
My goodness.
Yes, because his name is actually Pierre Louis Padang Coffin.
Oh,
so there you go. Yeah, he's
fun fact right there.
I know, right?
Because sometimes when I saw the Minions, you know, would speak in Bahasa Indonesia,
Yeah.
I would just thought because they thought we have like tribal, we're more known as like a
right.
exotic country.
Yeah, or maybe a special edition when it's released in Indonesia, they put Indonesian. No, because Pierre Coffin is half Indonesian. Yeah.
Love that. I'm loving it more. There you go. Despicable Me 4. It's going to be, premiere in summer.
Yes.
It's going to be a very yellow banana summer. All right, so everyone, we're going to take another short break right now, but when we return, we're going to have the updates from the world of Festus. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned right here in our program.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Kind of 10 days, the priority has been getting to California and making the miles and saving our money as best we can.
But we're going to ride 80 miles tomorrow. We've just ridden 70 and we're all starving.
Took the first couple of corners and felt pretty comfortable, so I thought I might get it.
So that was just too much rear brake, stalled the engine.
The end of the first day of competition.
The winner of the challenge today was Brody.
Revealed today by generations unborn when they weave their spell. The Cup of Dreams. It's football's biggest prize. On the greatest stage.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
About you that makes me indulge in the company of your own kind.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Satu bukit sampai elevasi gua hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kind of want to die.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
About you that makes me indulge in the company of your own kind.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar, dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Welcome back to the program, everyone. Back here at the main desk, it's time for us to bring you more world updates. Israeli forces have raided and killed 3 Palestinian militants in the process at a hospital in the West Bank in Palestine, where violence has been surging since the Israel genocide in Gaza.
The Israeli military said forces entered the Ibn Sina hospital in the northern city of Jenin early Tuesday, where they shot and killed 3 Palestinians.
The Palestinian Health Ministry said that the Israeli forces opened fire inside the hospital's wards and called on the international community to stop Israeli operations in hospitals.
Despite the humanitarian catastrophe unfolding in the Gaza Strip, several countries have paused funding for the United Nations Aid Agency for Palestinians.
Israel's attack in Gaza has killed more than 26,000 Palestinians, most of them women and children. Ceasefire talks are still ongoing, but Israel has said significant gaps remain in any potential agreement. President Joe Biden says he has made a decision on how to respond to the drone attack in Jordan that had killed 3 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers.
Biden declined to provide more details about what that response would be.
The weekend drone strike on a U.S. base in Jordan near the Syrian border also wounded more than 40 others. When asked how the U.S. response would be different from past responses to aggressions from groups backed by Iran.
The U.S. president said he did hold Iran responsible for supplying the weapons that were used in the attack. Biden was also asked what he would say to Democratic lawmakers who are concerned about the risks of an expanding war in the Middle East, and he replied with, "We'll see."
What's your response to Iran? Have you made a decision how we'll respond to the attack?
Yes. What's your message? Responsible for the death of those 2 Americans. We hold responsible for supplying the weapons to the division, which will rest the responsible. We will have that discussion.
We'd like to not deter these attacks in the past. What will be different this time?
Mr. President, how do you decide?
A regional war in the Middle East. A wider war in the Middle East. How worried are you?
I don't think we need a wider war on the Middle East. That's not what I'm looking for.
Are you going to Mr. President, sir, should Donald Trump be allowed on the ballot? Should Donald Trump be allowed on the ballot?
As far as I'm concerned, that's fine.
Why is he leading in the polls if he's a threat to democracy, as you say?
Because guys like you.
What am I doing? Come on, come on.
I'm teasing, man. I'm teasing.
I'm sorry.
Have you done everything you can do with executive authority? There's a little you can do. That's all I can do. Just give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work rationally.
There are some concern in the party about the possible escalation of military involvement in the Middle East.
There's concern. We'll see.
Now, the White House does insist that it's not looking for war with Iran, even as President Joe Biden vows retaliatory action for the drone attack on U.S. forces in Jordan that took the lives of 3 American troops that the Democratic administration believes Tehran was behind.
The brazen attack that the Biden administration blames on Iranian-based proxies adds another level of complexity to an already complicated Israel-Hamas war, which the Biden administration has sought to keep from expanding into a broader regional conflict.
Bradley Bowman, who is the Senior Director of Military and Political Power at the Foundation of Defense of Democracy, says he's been warning why there haven't been any U.S. military deaths up to this point.
That there's been 2 reasons why we haven't seen U.S. military deaths up to this point. And one is the force protection measures that we've taken, and 2 is luck. And as anyone knows, sooner or later, luck runs out. And sadly, it appears to run out this weekend. We have roughly 3,000 U.S. service members in Jordan. Jordan is an important security partner for the United States for all sorts of reasons. The primary objective, there really are 2 primary objectives, I would say, for U.S. military personnel being in Jordan. One is to help increase security cooperation between the U.S. and Jordan for a variety of reasons. They're a valuable security partner in a troubled region. So that's one reason why our troops are there. The other big reason, and this I think relates more to this particular location that was hit, that is trying to ensure the enduring defeat of the ISIS caliphate.
And from China, who had a statement on Tuesday, said the Middle East situation remains highly complex and sensitive, and urged restraint of parties involved after President Joe Biden said the U.S., quote-unquote, shall respond to the overnight drone strike, killing 3 American troops and injured dozens in northeast Jordan.
Yes, when asked about the incident, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin said that countries concerned should, quote, avoid being caught in a vicious cycle of retaliation and prevent further escalation of tensions in the region.
On Sunday, U.S. President Joe Biden had blamed Iran-backed militias for the first U.S. fatalities after months of ongoing strikes.
当前中东地区局势高度复杂敏感，希望有关各方保持冷静克制，加强对话沟通，避免陷入报复再报复的恶性循环，防止地区紧张局势进一步升级。我们不希望红海局势紧张，呼吁停止袭扰民用船只的行为，主张切实尊重包括也门在内的红海沿岸国的主权，致力于同各方一道为缓解红海紧张局势做出积极努力。
Taiwan is currently holding spring military drills following its recent presidential election and amid threats from China, which claims the island as its own territory and is determined to annex, possibly even by force.
Reporters on Tuesday were flown to a base in the southern county of Pingtung, where the Air Force maintains a fleet of C-130 transport planes, E-2 early warning aircraft, and P-3 Orient submarine hunters and maritime surveillance planes.
Yes, the tour for journalists included a display of the various ordnance carried on the P-3. That is a turboprop aircraft with 4 engines developed by Lockheed that was first introduced into the U.S. military in the 1960s. The planes can drop acoustic devices to detect submarines and are also armed with torpedoes and Maverick and Harpoon missiles. China has maintained military, diplomatic, and economic pressure on Taiwan following the January 13th election that returned the independence-leaning Democratic Progressive Party to a 3rd consecutive 4-year term in the presidency, this time with the current Vice President Lai Ching-te at the top of the ticket.
China sends warplanes and Navy ships on a near-daily basis into the waters and airspace around the island, although pilots at the 6th Composite Wing in Pingtung said they very rarely encounter Beijing's People's Liberation Army during their missions.
Taiwan's standard response is to scramble fighter jets, put missile launch sites on alert, and send its own Navy ships to navigate or investigate when China's forces encroach. The annual drills are also aimed at boosting public confidence in the island's ability to defend itself ahead of the Lunar New Year holiday, which this year's began on February the 10th, and each year sees travel by millions to their hometowns on the island and vacationing abroad.
相关的一个训练，我们做得非常扎实，那足以应付各种情况。那相关的一个应对的一个作为的部分，我们则依照国防部及司令部的各级长官指导，我们受令来执行。我们会依照空作部的一个指导，我们会透过空作部的一个指管，那受令来执行相关西南空域的一个训练以及相关应对的一个。
All right, from Asia, let's head over to Europe, where French farmers encircled Paris with traffic snarling barricades on Monday, maintaining pressure on the government for better pay, fewer constraints, and lower costs.
With protesting farmers camped out at barricades around Paris, France's government hoped to calm their anger with more concessions, and their complaints are growing and rearing food has become difficult or too difficult and not sufficiently lucrative.
Attention was focusing on an address that new Prime Minister Gabriel Attal was to give in the afternoon to France's lower house of parliament, laying out his government's priorities.
The farmers' campaign has blown up into a major crisis for Attal in the first month at his new job. Protesters rejected pro-agricultural measures that Attal announced last week as insufficient. The government promised more responses would be forthcoming on Tuesday.
Protesters came prepared for an extended battle with tents and reserves of food and water as they used hundreds of lumbering tractors and mounts of hay bales to block highways leading to the French capital that will host the Summer Olympics in 6 months. French President Emmanuel Macron said on Tuesday that the European Union should act to protect farmers against cheap agricultural imports and distribution platforms.
At a press conference in Stockholm alongside Sweden's Prime Minister, Macron said EU members were to discuss how to mitigate the impact of Ukrainian food products flooding Europe since the war with Russia broke out.
Fast track for EU membership talks. The country is seen as a potentially fearsome rival with its vast fields of grain and other agricultural products, such as sugars.
C'est aussi pour ça que je verrai la présidente de la Commission jeudi, parce qu'on a demandé des choses très concrètes pour nos agriculteurs. Un, d'avoir des mesures claires sur les importations venant d'Ukraine, car on a aujourd'hui en volume et en qualité des choses qui déstabilisent le marché européen, qu'il s'agisse des poulets comme des céréales. Deux, d'avoir une clarté sur le Mercosur. Nous souhaitons, nous demandons à ce que l'accord là tel qu'il est en place ne soit pas signé. Et trois, d'avoir aussi des souplesses. Je ne veux pas rentrer ici dans la technique, mais sur la question des jachères, des prairies qui sont très importantes. On a besoin. Derrière ce que nous mangeons, il y a un travail et donc il y a un prix, il y a une valeur. Il faut accepter de la payer. Et donc, nous allons continuer le travail pour vérifier et utiliser nos lois pleinement, pour protéger les agriculteurs, les transformateurs aussi, et faire que tout cela soit juste dans les négociations. Il faudra aussi que ce soit un débat européen, car il ne vous a pas échappé que certains de nos distributeurs ont organisé par des grandes centrales européennes le contournement de la loi française. La solution, ce n'est pas moins d'Europe, c'est parfois plus d'Europe. Une Europe, en tout cas, moins tatillonne pour embêter ceux qui travaillent au quotidien et plus claire pour réguler les intérêts qui se constituent.
So I was talking about Paris. So Marissa and also Paul, I mean, you guys love to go to Paris, but we love the architecture, designs, right, the history. What do you think about trucks and also tractors and haze along the road?
But this is the thing, though. I mean, one of the things that I guess some people admire and probably also some people not admire about the French.
Yes.
It really depends on how you think about demonstrations. The French demonstrate a lot on the street.
Yes,
if
they
they're
do.
not happy about something, they will show it.
Yes.
They will show it to the government that we don't like it and you need to change it. Otherwise, we're going to do strikes. And that has happened a lot in France.
Yeah.
What better way for farmers to do it than to bring their tractors out?
And haze, right? I mean, but jokes aside, though, I mean, you know, we know that the roads in Paris is not huge roads like we see
they're
like in the
small.
United States.
Small
right?
and beautiful.
Yeah, small and beautiful, but like when you see like tractors, you know, it's going to cause a lot of commotion and disrupt. That's right, Paul. Now, in regards to this, the Prime Minister Gabriel Attal said that our agriculture is an asset, not only because it feeds us, it's the truest sense of the word, but because it is one of the foundation of our identity and tradition. And adding on to this, Mr. Attal also said there must be a French agriculture exception, but he also mentioned that there is no solution that one size fits for all. And despite of this crisis, he said everything will not be fixed in several weeks. And of course, the farmers knew about this. They said, we know this is going to happen. You can't, you know, find the solution just on the snap. But they said that they acknowledged that there could be some bureaucratic regulations that you can cut off, though he acknowledged some rules could be negotiated at the EU level. So with that said, what we're seeing right now in the highway, 350 farmers on the barricade with about 250 tractors. They have organized meals, sleeping areas with regular enforcement from other regions. There are about 8 or so similar barricades around Paris with 5 to 25 miles off the capital. It is coming close now towards the capital. And, you know, the police authorities said they are just steadfast, headstrong, and ready to fight in order to get their resolution.
Nevertheless, seems peaceful so far. They're just trying to make a statement and hope it remains that way.
Beautiful tractors, by the way. You have to mention it.
All right, let's move on to our next story, where during a ceremony that was held at IORA Secretariat in Ebene, Mauritius on January the 30th, 2024, the ambassador of the European Union delegation to the Republic of Mauritius and the Republic of Seychelles, Oscar Benedict, presented the letter of acceptance, or LOA, that was signed by the High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Vice President of the Commission, Josep Borrell, to the Secretary General of IORA, Salman Al-Farisi.
This LOA is set to officially start EU's engagement with IORA as IORA's dialogue partner. Dialogue partners signed the LOA to convey their consent to confirm to the regulation of the IORA Charter on the status of dialogue partnership to begin their engagement with IORA.
Yes, the 23rd IORA Council of Ministers meeting held on October the 12th, 2023 in Colombo, Sri Lanka, conferred the status of IORA's dialogue partner to the European Union, which has been admitted at the 12th dialogue partner in IORA.
The IORA Secretary General underscored that with the diverse resources and talents embodied within the two regions, IORA and the EU can work together to develop cooperation in response to challenges facing the Indian Ocean and the world at large.
Of cooperation that we can explore with EU. As Ambassador just said, that maritime safety and security is one of the priority area for the EU, as well as it is also the priority area of IORA. Blue economy indeed is very important for IORA, and then I think EU is very concerned about that. And fisheries management, it's already in the list of the our priority area. And it's good that EU also quite interested in that point. As now IORA is also developing the issues on the IUU fishing, and that's why I think EU can do some support on that issue as well. Women economic empowerment is also very important for us. That's why I think the cooperation with EU will indeed strengthen further our effort on that issue.
And finally, when Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the opening of a new Hindu temple earlier in January, analysts called it the unofficial start of his re-election campaign.
Yes, India is due to go to the polls as soon as April, and surveys say so far that Modi is the most popular elected leader in the world, while commentators agree his re-election is all but certain.
Henry Wilkins reports from India on how Modi has taken advantage of the Hindu nationalism to gain many support.
The atmosphere was festive in Ayodhya on a recent Monday with chants of Jai Shri Ram, an ancient Hindu greeting more recently adopted by Hindu nationalist politicians, echoing across the city. Hindus, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, came from all over the country to celebrate the opening of a new temple at what they believe is the birthplace of the Hindu deity Ram. One organizer of the festivities told VOA,
और उसी राम मंदिर के लिए भगवान राम की जन्मभूमि की मुक्ति के लिए यह संघर्ष 1984 में प्रारंभ हुआ और आज इतने वर्षों से 84 से प्रारंभ हुआ और एक 35-40 वर्ष जो हो गए यहाँ काम करते करते और आज जाकर उस भगवान राम की जन्मभूमि की मुक्ति हो पाई है और
adding that he is happy Modi attended. Analysts have said Modi's attachment to the ceremony was designed to win favour with Hindu voters and mark the unofficial start of his re-election campaign. With India due to go to the polls in April or May, commentators agree he and his Bharatiya Janata Party's re-election is all but certain.
I think the party's strength really comes down to four key factors. The first is the BJP's Hindutva or Hindu nationalist ideology. The second is its welfare and development driven agenda. The third is hyper-nationalism. And the fourth is the Modi brand.
Others point to Modi's record on development.
So the last 10 years of Modi, if you see, it has been a very fast, in fact, economic development. So he started targeting, the bottom section of the society by giving them benefits, raising their lives.
Opposition parties and critics say Modi's Hindu nationalism is dividing the country's Hindu majority and Muslim minority. The Ram Temple in Ayodhya was built on the site of a mosque destroyed by a Hindu nationalist mob in 1992, sparking violent riots throughout India. The new temple opened amid tight security at mosques.
1992 में मैं यहाँ पे था जब बाबरी मस्जिद शहीद हुई थी तब मैं था मैं यहाँ पे था जब वो वारदात हुए थे तब भी मैं था वारदात के पहले भी था 92 के पहले में भी था 92 के बाद में भी था आज भी हूँ सारे वाक़यात हमने देखे हैं.
Days after the opening in Ayodhya, the Archaeological Survey of India, an Indian government agency, announced it found evidence a mosque in nearby Varanasi was built on the site of a Hindu temple. This led Hindu nationalist groups to question whether it and other mosques built on Hindu sites should be considered mosques at all, and called on the judiciary to decide. Rai told VOA he thinks a repeat of past violence between Hindus and Muslims is unlikely.
That in fact, if you see this whole Ayodhya thing, in fact, it was very, very bad, in fact, politically very, very badly managed.
Human Rights Watch say attacks against Muslims in India have increased in recent years. The rights group in 2022 noted an increase in summary and abusive punishments against Muslims considered to have broken the law. According to the Reuters news agency, India has the world's third largest Muslim population since independence from British rule in 1947. Henry Wilkins, VOA News, Ayodhya, India.
All right, as we enter the final hour of our program, it's time for us to take another short break, but we're going to stay here at the main desk because we have more updates for you coming up next, including those headlines as we always bring to you from Southeast Asia. Stay tuned.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi. Cakep. Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Kind of 10 days, the priority has been getting to California and making the miles and saving our money as best we can.
But we're going to ride 80 miles tomorrow. We've just ridden 70 and we're all starving.
Took the first couple of corners and felt pretty comfortable, so I thought I might get it.
So that was just too much rear brake, stalled the engine.
The end of the first day of competition.
The winner of the challenge today was Brodie.
Reviewed today by generations unborn when they weave their spell. The Cup of Dreams. It's football's biggest prize. on the greatest stage.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on C Today. As previously mentioned by Paul, we do have some updates and also the headlines from Southeast Asia region. And we'll begin from Paul.
Thanks, Caroline. Vietnam's Foreign Minister Bui Thanh Son suggested that ASEAN enhance digital infrastructure and people-to-people connectivity during the bloc's foreign ministers' retreat on Monday. He emphasized that ASEAN should work together to advance its intra-bloc trade and investment, since cooperation strategies to 2045 need a more comprehensive approach. Furthermore, Son extended invitations for countries to participate in an ASEAN forum on rapid and sustainable development hosted by Vietnam. Initially, the forum aims to create a platform for officials, experts, or scholars to exchange views and make policy recommendations regarding ASEAN development. And still from the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat, a senior representative of Myanmar attended the event for the first time in more than 2 years.
Yes, Myanmar had previously been barred from sending delegates to high-level meetings under Brunei, Cambodia, and Indonesia's chairmanship. Myanmar's foreign ministry sent ASEAN Permanent Secretary Marlar Tantike to the retreat in Luang Prabang. She's also the first junta representative to attend since the 2021 coup. She, however, declined to answer questions about Myanmar's presence at the meeting.
And lastly, from the Philippines, where President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has urged citizens to unite and support the government's initiative to establish a new Philippines. He was speaking in a January 28th rally at the Perennial Grand Stadium, Manila, which reportedly cost millions of pesos. The rally's exact budget remains undisclosed, but documents obtained by the local media shows that the Presidential Communication Office spent 15.9 million pesos on technical equipment and 7.5 million more on merchandises.
And now news from Timor-Leste. Well, Australia will provide 35 million Australian dollars, or worth 23 million US dollars, to bolster Timor-Leste's police development and also enhance the nation's technological and disaster response capacities.
On Monday, Prime Minister Xanana Gusmao welcomed the Minister for International Development and the Pacific of Australia, Pat Conroy. The Prime Minister Gusmao and Minister Conroy discussed funding that will be given to support Timor-Leste Police Development Program, or TLDP. In a press release, Conroy stated that Australia is committed to work with Timor-Leste to deliver skilled and professional police services to contribute to a stable and secure Timor-Leste.
The 23 million US dollars will come from Australia to maintain the police cooperation between the Policía Nacional de Timor-Leste and the Australian Federal Police that began 20 years ago. According to the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Timor-Leste, Australia continues to be Timor-Leste's top development and security partner. It will provide development assistance of an estimated 118 million Australian dollars, or worth 78 million US dollars at the end of 2024.
All right, let's now head over to Malaysia, where on Tuesday, January the 30th, Pahang's Sultan Abdullah officially ended his 5-year reign as the monarch.
Yes, since taking the throne in 2019, Abdullah has overseen the coming and going of 4 prime ministers, from Mahathir Mohamad to incumbent Anwar Ibrahim.
On Tuesday, Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah and consort Tunku Haja Aziza arrived at the Parliament Square in Kuala Lumpur for the farewell ceremony marking the end of their 5-year reign. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, along with other members of his cabinet, lawmakers, and foreign dignitaries, welcomed the couple. They were later escorted past lance bearers and received the royal salute from the honor guard before the national anthem was played. At the same time, the royal standard was lowered with a 21-gun salute. After the ceremony, the couple waved to attendees and placed their hands over their hearts as a sign of gratitude before boarding a motorcade to be flown back to Pahang. In the farewell banquet over the weekend, Sultan Abdullah expressed his gratitude for the trust that the Malaysian people have given during his tenure. His farewell address also called for more political stability and unity among the Malaysian people.
Sebagai pesanan saya terakhir buat seluruh rakyat Malaysia, jagalah perpaduan dan semangat hidup bermasyarakat dengan sepenuh hati. Inilah acuan sebenar untuk negara Malaysia yang sama-sama kita cintai. Saya akan merasa amat sedih seandainya perpaduan yang telah kita usahakan ini runtuh kembali akibat kelemahan dan kealpaan kita.
During his reign, Sultan Abdullah oversaw various political turmoil which led to an unprecedented intervention by the constitutional monarchy. He also witnessed the coming and going of 4 prime ministers, the most today.
From Malaysia to Thailand, where Deputy Finance Minister Tulakan Amon Minwat has weighed in on the current recession.
Speaking on Monday, Amon Minwat emphasized the need for stimulus to revitalize the economy and also mitigate the impact of the recession.
Amon Minwat also added or said that Thailand's economy is currently at a dangerous level, attributing it to high household debt and elevated private sector burdens. The recession brought by a high level of household debt has pressured the central bank to lower interest rates. The government has committed to implementing 500 billion baht handout plan and also distributing 10,000 baht to 50 million Thais.
It had previously adjusted its economic growth projection for 2024 from 3.2% to 2.8%, attributing it to weak export values and a low number of foreign tourists.
Yes, we're going for a break. In the meantime, stay connected with us at See Today News on Instagram, X, and YouTube. We'll be right back with another insightful discussion, especially from Indonesia, giving vote rights to the citizens who have mental disorders. Coming up next.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So spicy.
Absolutely delicious.
You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga.
Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty. Only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh. Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Welcome back to the program, everyone. It is 8:15 in the a.m. and time for our second discussion of the morning. And I mentioned it at the top of the program. 2 weeks away, yes. Just a matter of a couple of weeks, Indonesia will be holding its general elections. The democratic process will involve at least 200 million voters. Now, furthermore, this will be just the second time that people with mental disorders will be able to cast their votes.
Yes, they've actually been able to cast their votes since 2015.
Right.
And according to the General Election Commission, there are more than 1,100,000 or 0.54% of registered voters with special needs, while 265,000 more with mental disorders. Now, have their voting rights in the upcoming polls been guaranteed? So, discussing on the topic and how much has election organizers facilitate voters with mental disorders, joining us this morning is Hoirunisa Nur Agustiati. She's the Executive Director of the Association for Election and Democracy, or Perludem, right here on the C Morning Show. Good morning, Mbak Ninis.
Good morning,
Good morning. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So, when we talk about citizens with mental disorders, what categories would indicate that, okay, these people are with mental disorders?
Yeah, actually, generally in our election law, the requirement for voters is Indonesia citizen who is already 17 years old on the election day, or have been married. So under 17, if you're already married, then you can be a voters. So that is all the requirements. So there is no other requirements. For example, you are not allowed if you are a mental disorder or physical disability. So actually the requirement is that general. So the general election have to register all of Indonesian citizens that already 17 years old or have been married. So there is no limitation for anyone with disability or not disability. But then, before 2015, there was a regulation in the election law and also local election law mentioned that if you are mental disorder, you cannot be registered on the voter list.
That's before 2015?
Yes, before 2015.
Why was that?
So that is why Perludem and the other disability organization, we did a judicial review to the Constitutional Court, asking the court to change this regulation, because if we are talking about rights, it's all the citizen rights. We are not distinguished whether you are disability or not disability. So, and then the Constitutional Court granted our petition on 2015.
Okay, so what we are just talking about here is someone that has an official diagnosis from a medical expert that says they have some sort of, and when we say mental issue, it could be anything, right? I mean, we're talking like depression can even be a mental issue, or bipolar disorder. So right now, what is the legal basis for their voting rights? Like, everyone has the same voting rights despite any sort of diagnosis, or is there a severity level if somebody is, say, committed to a mental institution? Do they still have voting rights?
Yes, actually, based on the expert that give give their expertise on the court, he said that actually the condition of the mental disorder is periodic, so it's not permanent actually.
Okay.
So as long as their condition is able to vote, then they are able to vote. So and then the court said that. So actually, you don't have to get any recommendation from the doctor to go to the voter to the polling station. Actually, but the court said it has to be the expert that declare you that you are not able to vote.
So
not able to vote?
Right.
Yes, but not able to vote. So,
Right.
For example, if I was in a mental institution and I'm not allowed to leave, that would be a reason why I wouldn't be allowed to vote because I couldn't leave on my own.
Yeah, and you would have to have that letter.
Correct,
Yes.
right?
Basically announcing that this person cannot vote.
Right, so it's the opposite. It's not you get a letter so you can vote, but you have to get a letter to say that you cannot. Okay,
Yes.
and it has to be from the expert, so it cannot from, for example, if your neighbor said, oh, you have mental disorder, and then you are not allowed to go to the polling station.
Right.
Yeah. When citizens with experiencing mental disorders are going to the polling station to vote, does the government or the local government or the KPU, the General Election Commission, provide special assistance or no?
Yeah, actually there is assistance, special assistant, and KPU actually have like their facility for not only for the mental disorder but also the physical disorder. But the principle is every voters, every citizen that has the right to vote, the principle is they have to vote directly. So without assistance from anyone.
They have to do it on their own.
Yes. So we talk about the access. So we have to open the access for every voters. But the problem is sometimes the challenge is about the stigma, because sometimes when we talk about mental disorder, people think about crazy people, homeless people.
Yes.
So they generalize that we are talking about mental disorder. We talk about homeless people that crazy or something like that.
Yeah.
So there is still a stigma, and also disinformation, hoax in media, social sometimes also have the role. For example, in 2019 election, there was a hoax like a KPU make an obligation for mental disorder, they have to go to the polling station. It was a hoax, so that is why there is like a stigma from the society, and they compare it like our religious, for example, in Muslim, even if you are if you have a mental disorder, you are not obliged to do 5 times of prayers, for example. So why you have to go to the polling station? So there is still hoax and stigma in the society. So it impacted that voters with mental disorders are lost their voting rights on the election.
Well, they're not even aware that they had it to begin with, right? And our colleague earlier as well, Caroline, mentioned, did you notice that when you went to the polling station last time, there's always somebody just kind of watching, and that's to make sure that no one is influencing what you're going to vote.
Yes.
You're about to step in the
Correct.
poll. So is this the sort of special attention that everyone would receive, including those with mental disorders as well? Because we do know that with certain disorders, you may have some sort of pressure put on you, and you might easily be swayed one way or another, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the election contestants. There are 3 presidential and vice presidential candidates. Marissa mentioned the number. It's quite large, 265,000, those that have been diagnosed with mental disorders. Have the presidential and vice presidential candidates kind of given any attention to this sort of rights that many of us aren't even aware that those with mental disorders have, in order to kind of direct them in the right direction as to what they should do on voting day?
Yeah, I still don't see clearly from these 3 candidates to give access for the disability people in Indonesia, because yes, they might say something about that, but it's like only on their vision and mission and their documents. So, but the problem is the mental disorder, also physical disability voters, they still have intimidation, for example, discrimination during the election day, because they don't have the access. The access is not fulfilled, even though by the election commission. For example, voters who live in a social shelter, actually they have the right to vote, but sometimes they are not registered on the voter list. So if you are not registered on the voter list, you cannot vote on the election day. So so you lose your voting rights as a citizen. There is still talking about the accessibility for the mental disorder, and then sometimes the approach for disability voters, sometimes we see them as a sick person. Yeah, the approach is not because they have the same rights with the other citizen, but we see them as a sick person.
Why is that? I mean, why do we have that sort of way of seeing people with mental disorder or even people with disabilities? I mean,
I mean, even if you're sick, you will still know who you're going to vote for, right?
Yeah. It's like, why is our society like that exactly? And how do we begin to change that perception?
Yeah, because society still think like you said that we can the disability person cannot vote rightly. Yeah, even if we are sick.
That's quite condescending, actually, right?
Yeah, because sometimes if we are as people said we are a normal person, we can also make a better decision in the voting rights, right? So there is still a stigma. We see sometimes people see them like a sick person because just because they are different with the normal person.
So how do we change that? How do we change, what kind of behavior should we adopt so that we give the same safe space, even for those with mental disorder, to vote and to feel okay and to feel good, to feel welcome and accepted?
Yes, I think one thing that we should talk about this more, because sometimes people don't want to talk about it, just because they are different. Right. They are different, they don't have the same right with the other normal people. And talking about the regulation, actually the regulation is already there, but sometimes the stigma is not only from the society, but sometimes the election commission members also have the same stigma. For example, yes, they don't go to the they don't go to the social shelter to registered voters over there. They don't go to the hospital, for example. And even sometimes our family, the family that have family member with the mental disorder, sometimes they feel ashamed to say that I have the family with the mental disorder. So when the staff of the commissioner come to register the voter, they are not listed.
They don't register them.
I see. Okay.
Well, hopefully that there's more awareness in regards to this as well, because we weren't too clear as to what the rules are. But the rules are everyone has the same rights, basically.
Exactly.
Right? And they should exercise those rights despite what sort of condition you're in. And in your opinion, real quick before we cut to break here, do you think that the polling stations and all the accessibility is better this time around compared to when this rule was first implemented in 2015?
Yeah, actually there is a progress since 2004. But for example, the condition of the polling station need to be accessible for the wheelchair voters, for example.
Right.
For physical disability, yes, there is a progress. But for the mental disability, the progression is not like our approach for the physical disability, because there is stigma on their mind. For example, when people talking about she cannot vote because she is on depression, so don't accept her if she come to the polling station, for example. It still happens in our society.
Especially when you vote. I mean, you're voting around all your neighbors and everything, right? That could happen in a society.
But you know, whether you have mental disorder or not, we have the same right to vote.
Yeah, your voice still counts, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming by and enlightening more on this situation. We're going to take another short break here on the program, but we have more updates for you when we return here on the C Morning Show. Stay tuned.
China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, the 3-Hour News Show, yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
So spicy.
Absolutely delicious. You know, it's actually pretty good.
Satu, dua, tiga.
Come see the nature, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty. Only on See Indonesia.
Only on See Indonesia.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, many beautiful destinations in Indonesia, and one of them is Mount Gede Pangrango National Park, which has become one of the popular destinations, not only for a weekend getaway, but also for any big holidays that you have. So here, you can experience the thrill, as one of them, of sliding down the colorful track on a donut slide. Let's have a look.
The Golpara Park Tea, which lies at the foot of the Gede Pangrango Mountain, Sukabumi, West Java, offers not only relaxation amid the tea plantation, but also adrenaline-pumping activities on its exciting and challenging ride. One of its rides, Flying Fox, has become the children's favorite, where they can glide through the air from higher altitude. Another one is Rainbow Slide, where visitors can experience the thrill of sliding down the colorful track on a donut slide. Visitors can also take selfies in the middle of tea plantation with a direct view to Mount Gede Pangrango if the weather permitted.
Enak banget, meluncurnya kenceng banget.
Kenceng? Baru satu kali. Mau nyoba lagi nggak? Kalau pas meluncur?
Kaget dikit, seru.
Hah?
Seru. Enakan. Lumayan kaget. Baru pertama kali.
Baru pertama kali datang sini ya. Nah, terus gimana pas pertama meluncur?
For those who seek adrenaline rush, you can also try to ride the ATV through challenging and exciting track. Make sure to have an excel skill of riding a bike before you try one.
Ini.
Seru banget, banyak gelombang-gelombangnya jadi seru. Bagus banget, cuman sayang banget sampai jam 5 doang ya. Sampai malam biar dapet wahana semua. Aku datang jam 2.
Jadi nggak sempat semua deh.
Baru ATV doang.
Baru ATV doang. Tapi udah keliling-keliling.
Ya, cuman udah pada tutup ditutup tiketnya.
This tourist site has caught the attention of many, since it offers not only education and knowledge for children, but also a feast for the eye.
Tempatnya lumayan bagus, sejuk, seru juga wahananya. Keren lah pokoknya. UTV sama
Rainbow
slide.
Rainbow slide.
Cuman ya lumayan, mungkin lagi rame ya, jadi agak ngantri.
Agak ngantri.
Worth it sih, nggak terlalu mahal, terjangkau. Boleh deh, recommended banget kalau ke tempat sini. Dijamin puas.
To anticipate the crowd during end-year holidays, the site management divided the ticket purchase system for all rides.
Kalau untuk wahana yang paling digemari itu Rainbow Slide.
Itu
masih jadi nomor 1 gitu. Nomor 2-nya di Flying Fox. Rainbow Slide itu adalah seluncuran yang tinggi banget gitu, yang naik ban gitu, naik ban donat, jadi seluncur ke bawah lumayan tinggi banget. Kalau untuk luasan area itu sekitar 12 hektar. Nah, untuk wahana sendiri itu ada sekitar 12 sampai 13 wahana. Cuman memang ada beberapa wahana yang kita kasih free juga untuk pengunjung gitu. Hanya bayar tiket masuk udah dapat beberapa wahana yang free gitu di area Gua Paratipak.
With only paying 30,000 rupiahs, visitors can enjoy selected free rides available at the premises. And if they wish to experience other favorite rides, they have to buy an additional ticket, with the price ranging from 25 to 100,000 rupiahs. See Today contributor reporting from Sukabumi, West Java.
That's so nice. One of the greatest joys of traveling is also tasting its local cuisine. Well, I'll recommend you another place in Indonesia. This is a restaurant that is located in Ngebum Beach in Kaliwungu, Kendal, Central Java, where they serve oysters in a different way, because usually in Europe you would eat oysters raw, but here you would eat it roasted.
Indulge in the delicious taste of grilled oysters at Ngebum Beach, Kendal, Central Java, all without breaking the bank. These delightful seafood treats offer a restaurant quality taste that won't disappoint it. What sets these oysters apart is their absence of the typical seafood odor, making them a favorite among visitors. The food stall owner, Kafidin, emphasizes the ease of preparing this dish. The pre-washed oysters are roasted over an open fire for approximately 3 minutes, as they are essentially ready to be savored raw. Following the brief cooking process, the shells are opened for the addition of seasonings medley, such as chili, onion, lime juice, sesame oil, chili sauce, along with soy sauce. These shell-clad marine delicacies, which cling to rocks and wood, are rich in a variety of essential nutrients, including protein, carbohydrate, vitamin B2, vitamin B12, vitamin E, and various minerals.
Di sini kan melimpah tiram bakar. Tiramnya untuk memperkenalkan wisatawan di Pantai Ngebum ini kan belum ada. Kita coba sajikan tiram bakar, ternyata alhamdulillah bagus manfaatnya. Untuk tiram sendiri ini penuh protein ya, terus untuk laki-laki untuk meningkatkan hormon testosteronnya itu bagus.
Served not on a traditional plate, but on a wooden tray, a typical portion comprises 15 to 20 oysters, each boasting an adult palm-sized profile. The harmonious blend of seasonings makes the taste even better.
Rasanya itu enak, teksturnya juga lembut, terus juga tadi kan ada perasan lemon, nah itu juga nambah kesan asam, manis, sama pedesnya juga dapat. Saya belum pernah coba oyster, dan kebetulan kan oyster itu terkenal dengan makanan yang orang-orang kelas atas saja yang bisa makan.
All of this can be enjoyed for the affordable price of just 30,000 rupiah per portion. The food stall opens every day, and the number of visitors typically doubles on the weekend. See Today contributor reporting from Kendal, Central Java.
Love the culinary experience. And from the island of Java, now we move to the island of Sumatra. 3 tame elephants in Sampoinit Conservation Response Unit in Aceh Jaya, Aceh have been assigned to help ward off their fellow elephants, wild elephants, who sometimes invade residents' farms and settlements. Now, this is to mitigate conflicts, of course, between residents or humans and animals. And now, these trained elephants are the face of the environmental education for locals and foreign tourists.
The Aceh Natural Resource Conservation has established 6 conservation response units, or CRU, spread out in several regions that suffer from conflicts between residents and Sumatran elephants. One CRU is located in Ia Jeringa village, Sampoiniat district, Aceh Jaya, Aceh. These trained Sumatran elephants are named Isabella and Johanna. The female trained elephants are assigned to remote villages in the Aceh Jaya district to mitigate conflicts between wild elephants and residents. Aside from Isabella and Johanna, there is also another elephant named Aziz, which at the time was not around during this report, as it was assigned to mitigate animal conflicts in other regencies. And when there are no conflicts between residents and animals, these elephants would often be visited by locals and foreign tourists. Visitors can witness the elephants being bathed by the mahout or elephant handler. Besides that, visitors can also take pictures with the protected elephants.
Iya, rutinitasnya ya seperti biasa. Kita selalu melakukan berupaya dalam sehari 2 kali itu harus ada interaksi antara si mahout atau yang merawat gajah itu sendiri dengan si gajahnya. Bentuknya seperti memberi makan, memberi minum, kemudian merawat seperti memandikan. Itu untuk mendekatkan atau membangun semacam chemistry dengan si gajah itu sendiri.
Visitors that come admitted to being happy and amazed at seeing the Sumatran elephants directly. They would usually see the animals only on the internet, but now they can get closer to the elephants by seeing their activities.
Pernah lewat internet, jadi ini benar-benar baru lihat gajah, dan saya juga baru tahu ternyata gajah itu sangat cerdas ya. Jadi ketika mahout ya, dibilangnya mahout itu adalah penjaga ataupun orang yang mengawal gajah itu sendiri. Ketika mengarahkan gajahnya langsung patuh gitu, mengangkat kakinya gitu, dan itu merupakan hal yang baru bagi saya ketika melihat hal tersebut. Dan ternyata mereka sangat interaktif gajah itu.
The 3 Sumatran elephants that are placed in Sampoiniat CRU are handled by 6 mahouts. The current population of Sumatran elephants are around 1,600 to 2,000, spread out in Aceh, North Sumatra, South Sumatra, Riau, Jambi, Bengkulu, and Lampung provinces. See Today News contributor reporting from Aceh Jaya, Aceh.
And now let's take a little breather. When we come back, my colleague Paul Palele will return with a recap from the world of sports.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi. Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu, dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Kind of 10 days, the priority has been getting to California and making the miles and saving our money as best we can.
But we're going to ride 80 miles tomorrow. We've just ridden 70 and we're all starving.
Took the first couple of corners and felt pretty comfortable, so I thought I might get it.
So that was just too much rear brake, stalled the engine. The end of the first day of competition. The winner of the challenge today was Brody.
Revealed today by generations unborn when they weave their spell. The Cup of Dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show, 8:45 in the AM, and time for a quick sports recap, beginning with some football news. The Indonesian under-20 football team were defeated 3-2 by Uzbekistan during a friendly match at Madia Stadium in Jakarta on Tuesday. Uzbekistan took the early lead in the match when Raymov Mohammadali scored from an assist by Tulkin Bekov Azizbek during the 4th minute. Coach Indra Shafri's team was able to equalize in the 32nd minute with a strike inside the penalty box by Kafiatur Rizki. However, 6 minutes later, Uzbekistan went back in front, courtesy of an error by Rifki Tofani, who could not handle the cross by Kurbanov Ozodbek. After the halftime break, Indonesia managed to equalize once again during the 74th minute when Sultan Zaki converted a cross from the left wing into a goal. However, disaster for Indonesia came in minute 87 when Faizulayev Ruziboy scored a powerful goal with a strong strike from all the way outside the box. Final score, Indonesia 2, Uzbekistan 3.
Ya, saya pikir masalah fokus ya di akhir-akhir babak, terus juga tadi gol kedua dari Uzbek, ya, karena tidak adanya mungkin koordinasi dan komunikasi dan orang yang melakukan crossing, yang sebenarnya dia akan melakukan crossing tetapi bola masuk ke gawang. Jadi hal-hal kecil seperti itu yang mungkin ya ini kan tim baru berproses.
Meanwhile, from the AFC Asian Cup in Qatar, Uzbekistan defeated Thailand 2-1 in their last 16 tie with second-half winner from Abosbek Faizulayev at the Al Janoub Stadium on Tuesday to set up a quarterfinal clash with hosts and defending champions Qatar. Uzbekistan took the lead in the first half when Dior Holmatov lobbed a cross-field ball into the box to Azizbek Turgunboyev, who expertly controlled the pass with his chest before volleying it past Patiwat Kamai in Thailand's net. However, Thailand was able to equalize just before the hour mark when Supachok Sarachat pulled the trigger from more than 25 yards out with his low-shot curling pass Uzbekistan goalkeeper Utkir Yusupov, who did not react in time to make the save. Uzbekistan was able to restore their lead 7 minutes later through Abosek Faizulayev when the winger quickly turned his defender and fired from the edge of the box, directing a low shot that squeezed past the keeper into the net and secured them the win. On to some basketball news now. Jalen Green scored 34 points and Alperen Sengun added 31 to help the Houston Rockets to a big 135-119 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers on Monday night. Houston had led by as many as 30 points in the second half before the Lakers used a 25 run to get within 10 with 4 minutes remaining. However, the Rockets scored the next 6 points, with 3 coming from Green, to make it 127-111 with about 3 minutes left. Green, who was the second overall pick in the 2021 draft, is working to be a more all-around player in his first season under head coach Ime Udoka. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and D'Angelo Russell each scored 23 points apiece for the Lakers, who had previously won 2 in a row, capped by a 145-144 double overtime stunner over the Golden State Warriors on Saturday. And that does it for our sports recap. It's time for us to take our final break on the C Morning Show. But stick around, we have some entertainment news coming up next.
China
Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, the 3-hour news show yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir di ketiganya.
Harus naik satu bukit sampai elevasi gua hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kind of want to die.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack. Because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the map. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
All right, folks, we're in the last leg of our show right now, and we have some entertainment update again, where the Recording Academy posted on their website to announce Zaz as the latest addition to the list of performers at this year's Grammy Awards ceremony. Yes, this will be SZA's second performance on the Grammy night. She first performed 6 years ago when she was a Best New Artist nominee. Meanwhile, SZA leads the nomination with 9 nods, including Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year. SZA is followed by Victoria Monette and Phoebe Bridgers, who both have received 7 nominations.
Yes, the 2024 Grammy Awards may be a big momentum for SZA, who in the past have been nominated for 15 awards at the Grammys in total, but only ever won once in 2022. In this year's edition, she will join the likes of fellow performers such as Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, Olivia Rodrigo, and Joni Mitchell, who will perform at the Grammys for the first time in her over 6-decade career.
That's correct. The 66th Grammy Awards will take place on February the 4th, 2024 at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Not for the Lakers game though, Paul.
Gotta put the games on hold for now.
Yes, still from the world of music, Snoop Dogg, Babyface, and Kanye West showed their support for Charlie Wilson as the R&B performer was receiving an honor with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame Monday.
Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly welcome to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Charlie Wilson!
The 13-time Grammy nominee was honored with a star in the category of recording on his 71st birthday as a huge crowd of fans, Snoop Dogg, Babyface, and Kanye West gathered in Los Angeles. Wilson was lead singer of the Gap Band for a decade, earning acclaim for hits including You Drop a Bomb on Me and Early in the Morning.
This man right here means the world to me. Not just musically, but personally, like especially when it comes to me and my wife. Because it was certain phases in my life where, you know, I felt like I should be by myself. I should do this alone. And Charlie was the only one man enough to pull me to the side and let me know.
During the ceremony, Wilson spoke about being sober for nearly 30 years and how he struggled with homelessness on the Sam Streets where the Stars now sits. He also praised his wife Mahind, who he described as his rock, inspiration, and a guiding light, as well as rapper Snoop Dogg for helping him get back on his feet.
Today, I stand before you as a man who has been sober for 29 years. No relapse. One day at a time. 29 years, 7 days a week. No days apart from that lady right there. I love you so much, baby. I owe it all to her unwavering support and love. I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to God for guiding me through this incredible journey. I am humbled and honored to receive this star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Wilson, who was diagnosed with the prostate cancer in 2008, has been an advocate for the Prostate Cancer Foundation, having lived cancer-free for 16 years through early detections and treatment. He has performed in the 2 Stand Up to Cancer telethons and documented his experiences in 2015 autobiography, I Am Charlie Wilson.
All right, congrats, Uncle Charlie. And we've got more music-related news as South Korean singer-songwriter IU and actor Park Bo-gum has been announced as the stars of Netflix's new K-drama, When Life Gives You Tangerines. In a press release yesterday, Netflix also announced the all-star cast of the series.
When life gives you tangerine, make orange juice from it.
Yeah,
so Netflix's upcoming K-drama series will follow the adventures of IU as Aesan, the remarkable rebel, and Park Bo-gum as Kwan-sik, the unyielding iron, and their love story in Jeju Island around 1950s. So Aesan has been described as a determined rebel who continuously defies her fate. Kwan-sik is a steadfast man who shows his sincere affection through his action. Yaw.
And outside of her music, IU, who boasts an impressive filmography with projects such as My Mister, Hotel Del Luna, and Broker, will be working with director Kim Won-seok for the second time following My Mister. Meanwhile, Park Bo-gum has also shown his skills in many popular series, including Reply 1988 and Record of Youth.
Yes, aside from IU and Park Bo-gum, the K-drama will also star Moon So-ri, Park Jae-hoon, and they will essay the roles of older versions of Aesan and Kwan-sik, respectively. This K-drama will be available exclusively on Netflix.
All right, so Netflix.
Yes, and I heard, what was the title that we read? Hotel Del Luna. I heard from our colleague Alin.
Yes,
all into the
that's
K-drama.
right. Oh, yeah.
Apparently that's a good one.
Really?
Apparently.
Why not?
Okay, Hotel Del Luna.
Yeah, I don't watch K-dramas myself, but I trust her when she gives her recommendations.
Okay,
She knows all
She's
about
the
it.
expert on it.
That's right. So that just about does it for today's episode of the CE Morning Show. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you found our show interesting and our talk shows enlightening. But while we're not connected on the air on the CE Morning Show, you can still follow us through our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram, x.com, or YouTube at C Today News.
And of course, See Today can now be enjoyed in Australia on Foxtel's OTT platform, Flash app, or in Macau Cable TV Channel 84. Or if you're in the Philippines, you can also watch the Converge Vision Channel 58, and in Singapore through Singtel Singapore Channel 15.
Yes, and for you Telkomsel users, watch See Today on the MaxStream app. Don't forget to also tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel, and be sure to also catch our afternoon show every day at 5 p.m. I'm Marissa Anita.
And I'm Caroline Sarahmat.
And I'm Paul Palelli. Have a great Wednesday, everyone.
See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
guys, back with me again, Chef Raihan, only on Satisfactory. Cook healthy and cook happy. In this first menu on this episode, I'm gonna make some classic Turkish dish that's called menemen. It's based on tomato ketchup and then we dipping with the bread. So we already have all ingredients in here. First, we need some salt for heat. We need chili flake, and then the sourdough, and then this is cooking cream, tomato paste. For seasoning, need some black pepper, and then some of beef broth. For protein, we need some egg and butter, olive oil, and then we have some toppings like avocados, another tomatoes, onion, and then pepper or paprika. First thing to do, we're gonna prepare for the sauce, the tomato sauce. We need some of the onions. And then we turn on the stuff and adding 1 teaspoon of butter. While we wait the onion is cooked, we prepare the pepper. Okay. First, with seasoning.